Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Monday Healing Step session. And here in the Bridge to Healing community, um, if you're new here or watching for the first time, I'm Janine Naus, your grief and trauma relief specialist. I support trauma survivors like you who've carried invisible pain for far too long and are now ready to reconnect with themselves, reclaim their voice, and begin healing from the inside out. Now, if you're catching the replay, type pound replay in the comments so I can circle back and connect with you. And if you're here with me live, say hello and type pound live. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. So today's topic touches something so many of us have felt, not just in one moment, but in how those moments shaped us. And what happens when we've been left emotionally, physically, or spiritually so many times. And that some part of you starts to believe you weren't worth staying for. We're talking about abandonment, not just when someone walks away, but when they stay in the room and still don't see you, when you're left alone with your pain, when you've had to be the strong one because no one else could hold what you were feeling. If you've ever felt like you had to be the stable one in the family, carry the emotional weight for others, feared being a burden, struggled to set boundaries, or trust that your needs matter, then this conversation is for you. So take a breath with me. You're not alone. You've made it here, and that's what matters. So if you've ever felt like you had to be the strong one, the quiet one, the one who holds it all together, it's not just because you were resilient. It's often because at some point you were left alone with your pain. Abandonment doesn't always look like someone slamming the door and walking out of your life. Sometimes it's much quieter. And because of that, it's harder to name, harder to heal. It might have looked like a parent who is physically present but emotionally unreachable, too shut down by their own pain to notice yours. A sibling who is protected while you were the one blamed or dismissed. A friend who pulled away when you finally opened up, leaving you with even more shame for being vulnerable. A partner who said they loved you, but stopped trying the moment you needed them the most. It's those moments that don't always get labeled as trauma, but they cut just as deep. Abandonment sends messages, even when no one else says a word. Your needs are too much. Love walks away when it gets hard. No one is coming. You have to handle this alone. And when that happens early on in life, your nervous system wires itself for survival, and you learn to scan for danger instead of connection. You shrink yourself so you don't get left again. And you try to be easy, low maintenance, the one who doesn't need anything. Because somewhere along the way, the pain of being left turned into a belief. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe if I had been better, they would have stayed. But I want you, but I want you to pause and really let this in. That belief. It was never yours to carry. You were never too much. You were never unworthy of love or presence. You were a child or a person in pain, doing the best you could with what you had. And while the people who abandoned you may have been carrying their own wounds, it doesn't make what happened okay. This is where the healing begins, not by excusing them, but by choosing not to continue abandoning yourself in the ways they did. So let yourself take a breath here. That wound doesn't define you, but naming it, that's where your power starts to return. When abandonment becomes part of your early story, you find ways to survive it, to make sense of that of what hurt, to avoid ever feeling that pain again. And you may not even realize you're doing it, but suddenly You're shaped your whole life around protecting yourself from being left. So what does that look like? You might become the one who never leaves others, even when they hurt you. The one who tries to fix everyone else, hoping if they're okay, you will be too. The one who bends, sacrifices, and even disappears just to make sure no one walks away from you. These are survival patterns, and they're understandable. They were your best attempt at creating safety in a world that didn't feel safe. But over time, they took a toll. You may start to feel drained, resentful, or invisible in your own life. And you might wonder why you're the one always holding everything together, while your own needs, your own voice, your own dreams get buried under everyone else's. And beneath it all, there's often a quiet ache, a voice that asks, will anyone ever choose me? Will anyone stay for me? That ache is your inner child, the part of you who still wants what was missing, the part of you who still doesn't feel worthy of being chosen without effort, without proving, without earning it. This is where the healing begins. But first, I want to speak a hard truth. One I say with so much care because I lived it too. You weren't born to fix your parents. You weren't here to carry your family's unhealed pain. And your healing was never meant to come second to anyone else's. When you've grown up with abandonment, when you were emotionally left, dismissed, or made to feel like your needs were too much, you learn to silence yourself in order to stay connected. You begin to equate love with self-sacrifice. You become the one who overextends, the one who keeps the peace, the one who anticipates everyone else's needs but hides your own. So when you finally start to choose yourself, it can feel terrifying, not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. The nervous system doesn't recognize it as safe at first, and it might sound the alarm that this isn't how we survive love. That's why the guilt shows up. And guilt isn't always a sign you've done something wrong. Sometimes guilt is the echo of an old survival pattern saying, if I take up too much space, I will lose love. But here's what's true. Choosing yourself doesn't mean abandoning others. It means you're no longer abandoning yourself to keep love that costs you your peace. It means you stop dimming your light to soothe someone else's shadow. It means recognizing that you were never meant to carry other people's unhealed pain as proof of your worth. You were meant to thrive, not survive everyone else's dysfunction. So let's reframe what it means to choose yourself. It's not selfish. It's not cold. It's not a betrayal. It's a return to your dignity, to your voice, to your right to exist without apology. And when you begin to say, I matter, I don't have to earn love by disappearing, you are choosing to break the pattern, not out of rebellion, but out of love for yourself. The old kind of safety was based on control, pleasing, or disappearing. It meant scanning the room, adjusting yourself, shrinking your needs just to feel close to someone. But the new kind of safety doesn't ask you to twist into someone else's comfort. It comes from within, from showing up for yourself in a way no one ever showed up for you. This new safety sounds like, I don't have to explain myself to be valid. I can say no and still be worthy of love. I can rest. I don't need to perform to belong. It's learning to listen when your body whispers, this isn't okay, and choosing not to override it. It's giving yourself permission to walk away from relationships that require you to abandon yourself to stay. It's no longer waiting for someone else to choose you, because you're already doing that. That's what healing is. You are creating a home inside yourself, a place that doesn't leave you when things get hard, a place that sees you, hears you, and holds space for your truth. This is the foundation that lets you show up differently in every area of your life, with more clarity, more courage, and a deeper sense of peace. And you don't have to get it perfect. Every time you choose yourself, even in the smallest way, you're rewriting the story of what love looks like. And that matters. So let's take a breath together here. Now, and if any part of what I just shared resonated with you, if you felt seen, if your heart stirred, if your eyes welled up a bit, I invite you to write this down somewhere you can return to later. Here it is. I'm allowed to choose myself, even when it feels unfamiliar. I don't have to disappear to be loved. You can say it out loud if you can, because sometimes hearing your own voice says when you say it, it begins to break the spell of the silence. And I'm going to repeat today's reflection in case you wanted to write it down. I'm allowed to choose myself, even when it feels unfamiliar. I don't have to disappear to be loved. When you choose yourself, you're not being selfish. You're healing. You're breaking generational cycles. You're creating a new foundation, not just for yourself, but for what's possible beyond you. So now let's talk about what's next. If any part of today's conversation landed in your heart and made you say, that's me, or that's what I've lived through, I want you to know this: you're not alone. And you don't have to figure this out by yourself. Healing from abandonment isn't about blaming the past. It's about reclaiming your present. It's about coming back to yourself with compassion, with patience, and with the kind of presence we didn't always receive. So inside this Bridge to Healing community and the work I do with my clients, we do this work together. We create space for your story. We hold space for your truth. And we walk with you as you learn to hold your own hand again. So if you've been silently struggling or wondering when it will be your turn to heal, let this be the moment you reach out. Let this be the moment you choose you. I invite you to watch the replay, share this with someone who needs it, or if you're not already inside, join the Bridge to Healing community, where you'll find more support, tools, and gentle encouragement to move forward at your own pace. And if you're feeling called to go even deeper, beyond just watching or reading, you're welcome to schedule a private healing connection, a no-fee clarity call, and it's a no-fee conversation, just space for you to feel heard and gently supported. And you can bring whatever's weighing on you, and together we'll explore what's possible. So until next time, keep choosing yourself, even when it feels new. You're not wrong for wanting more, and healing is not just possible, it's waiting for you. So you are worth staying for. I hope we all have a wonderful day. Thank you.